Hey guys, what's up?
Hi,
This is Tale of Two Dead Girls, and I'm your host, Kayla,
and I'm your host, Kayle.
and this is our episode number 17.
Big 1-7.
Yeah, we are recording this on Friday the 13th.
Yeah, we giving it real spooky vibes.
Yeah, so it would have been cool if we put this out on the 13th, just for fun. But there's been a lot of health issues, like mental health issues and stuff between the both of us, a lot of anxiety and whatever because of shit that's going on in the world and also shit that's going on within our minds. So, um yeah, I can't even remember when we put out our last episode.
It was late because we had health issues and we had technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
All these
on
issues.
Wednesday, I think. I don't know. It was so fucking annoying. We were dealing with this shit for like a week and we were both
Yeah.
sick and it just was not good. It was not
It
good
was,
times.
yeah, definitely not. But we're here, we're recording, and we got some cool stories for you guys. But before we get into that, I just wanted to share something with. I mentioned it in in the last episode. My wall hangings I've been doing and like my pin boards and stuff. I have been. I can't remember if I mentioned this in the last one, but my Midsommar wall hangings, that film. I am taking commissions right now up until March 27th for those. If you're interested or you want to know what I'm talking about, just go to my Instagram or our Instagram. I'll just post it on the Instagram, so you guys can look at that. Tale of Two Dead Girls at gmail. Or what the fuck am I saying? Tale of Two Dead Girls on Instagram, and then I'll just like post it because I mean, it's supposed to be like a horror movie, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's
Well,
like
it's
a
like it's
type,
like a psychological horror, not
yeah,
like
but
a
still like
ghost
it's still
horror.
like
Yeah.
in the horror family. So I'll post that on our page so you guys can take a look at it. I'm very surprised at how successful it's been. I remember like when Michaela started her Etsy business, hers took off like right away, which is why she's no longer with us. She's focusing on her business. But I remember just being so like I was honestly like bummed about mine because I had started my Etsy like 5 years ago and nobody was interested in like what I was making, and it was very hard for me to sell anything, and I would sell something maybe like once every I don't know, year or a few months if I was really active on it. But now it is finally like taking off and I'm just so excited and happy. I quit my full-time job not because of this business, but I quit my full-time job because of mental health reasons. If you are unhappy at your workplace and it's literally making you mentally and physically sick, get the fuck out of there. Quit, figure it out, go somewhere else, do something else. There's so much you can do for money. Like there's this I forget what it's called. It's like focus marketing, no, market research groups. Have you heard of that, Kale?
No, I haven't.
Um there it's like findfocusgroups.com or something like that, but they're like market research things where you get like usually it's like a large lump sum of money. Well, not that large. I mean, it's like 100 to like $400 per research study where there's just a bunch that you can do. There's some that you can find in your area. There's some that you can do online. So you just apply for it, and if you fit what they're looking for, then you will just do whatever it is that they ask, and then you get the money for it. Um, and I saw that on TikTok, so I want to try to do that too because fuck working corporate America, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
So um but yeah, also we do want to set up our Patreon. We haven't really talked about it lately, but we do want to set up our Patreon, so for people who want to donate to us or support us, not donate, whatever, support us, so we can hopefully even buy some better mics because yeah,
Yeah, we want to do like merch and stuff too. We're just kind of struggling right now. We would love to do like
Exactly.
more stickers and things like that for
Pins,
sure. And
enamel
pins.
pins,
Yeah.
tote bags. I am a tote bag slut. I love my tote bags.
I
I
am a
have
tote
so
bag slut.
many.
I love that.
Yeah. I love them. I love them. I love them. I love them.
That's like something a
So,
middle-aged mom would say, I feel like.
or it'll say it on the tote bag slut.
Oh no.
But yeah, so oh my god, this coronavirus.
Yeah, it's fucking scary.
It's literally like, so first I wasn't really terrified of it. Like I wasn't even paying any attention to it. I would just see it and I didn't even look into it cuz I don't know, I wasn't worried about it up until I saw my friend post that Disneyland was shutting down. Once I saw that, that's when I started to freak and I actually had a panic attack and then I was thinking like, "Oh my god, what if all of this anxiety that I'm feeling that's making me sick to my stomach is like what if I have the coronavirus?" Like I literally thought for a second like, "What if I have it?" But it's like, I don't even fucking go out. So how the fuck am I going to get the coronavirus?
Yeah.
Like I don't go
I
out
know.
ever. I
Good thing one of the symptoms isn't stomach problems, or else we'd both think we have it like every fucking day.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just fucked for life with that. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then so yesterday I went to Target and Walmart cuz I was just doing some light grocery shopping and just had to get some things done because, for the past week I've been too fucked with anxiety. I couldn't even leave my bed. So I finally didn't have anxiety and I got up and went and people are not kidding when they say that there is absolutely no water, no toilet paper, no nothing. Like there was no food, there was no water, there was like nothing. It was scary to see all of that and like seeing how schools are shutting down. My friend that got accepted into this program in Oxford, like England, she was just there for like 7 days and they already are sending all of her classmates back because of this. Like it's just so fucking crazy. Like all of the events being postponed, all of the amusement parks being shut down. Like it is so scary, like how everything is happening. But I understand that it has to do with like trying to prevent it and not that everyone has it. It's just that they're trying to prevent it. But the fact that this is all that severe where they're closing things down that are like big, where things don't like Disneyland never closes. When the fuck do you remember when Disneyland closed? Like never, you know?
Yeah. It's pretty scary. Like I'm trying not to worry about it too much, but my boyfriend and I are both like very paranoid people, so we like convinced ourselves of this whole like conspiracy theory that the government is purposely doing this to like basically because of climate change. I'm about to get real crazy on you guys, but basically because of climate change, scientists predicted that we had like 5 to 7 years to fix the planet before we were totally fucked. And so we were like coming up with this plan to say that like the government is basically just trying to like weed out the population to do like a global and economic reset.
Fuck. Okay, that's like the purge or
Yeah,
something, right?
literally like just trying to fucking like get rid of as many people as they can, like a new
That's why
plague.
it's
Yeah.
oh my god, that's why it's targeting like old
Old
people.
people and babies.
Oh my god.
I
Ah!
know. I know. I was like totally in it yesterday. I was like, we need to go buy stuff. Like, oh my god. But yeah,
Yeah.
we go grocery shopping every week because we meal prep, so we find no need in like buying a ton of groceries. So now we're like screwed because we have no food and we had to go to the store today and just get like mac and cheese for like 2 weeks.
Oh my
I
god.
know. It's so
That's
stressful.
crazy.
It's really stressful.
Yeah, also I wanted to mention something that I don't really ever post about, which I don't know why, but I did post about it recently on like my personal Instagram. But I just started using Young Living essential oils. You know what Young Living is, right?
No, I do not.
Oh my god, really? It's like in Utah. Like they're based in Utah, or Salt Lake City.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, but anyways, they have like a bunch of essential oils and whatever, and I just wanted to share with you guys the one that I just got because it is fucking amazing and I'm smelling it right now because it is just so good. But I bought a vetiver. if you've never smelled vetiver, think of it, if you've been to Disneyland, think of it like the Pirates of the Caribbean water. And anyone who loves Disney and that ride knows that that smell is dank AF, even though it's probably actually not. It's like probably gross, but
It's like mold.
it's like I don't know, but it's so
Like
good. But I don't
algae.
know. Yeah, but vetiver is really good for like sleep, for stress and anxiety. So I bought it and it literally knocked me the fuck out when I used it. I put it in my oil diffuser with some drops of cedarwood and lavender, which are also good for anxiety, for stress, for sleep. And I literally knocked out. I knocked out at 9:30 p.m., woke up at 7 a.m. the next day, had a bomb ass fucking sleep. Um, so if you guys ever have smelled like legit vetiver, it will make you feel like you are a little tiny fairy in an enchanted forest with your little flower fairy friends, and it's just such an amazing smell. I can't even describe. It's very earthy and woodsy, and that's the kind of shit that I like because, I like to pretend I'm a fairy sometimes, like in my imagination. If I could live in any world, I would be in a fantasy world with like fairies and elves and nymphs and, you know, all of that good stuff. But yeah, we did a lot of rambling. So
Yeah.
I guess we can just get into our stories now. And Kale's going first this time.
Okay, you guys. I have a fucking crazy mystery that I don't even know. Like, I want to believe so bad that she was a victim, but I'm also very skeptical. It is insane. And when you listen to this episode, please comment back to us like what you think the answer is to the mystery. Like, engage with us in our posts because we live for that shit.
So is this like an unsolved thing?
Kind of. Yeah.
Okay,
So
got it.
the police think one thing and her family thinks another thing. But without
Yee.
any spoilers, let's just get right into it. So this is the mysterious death of Cindy James.
Ooh.
Yep. So for 38 years, Cindy James seemed to live a normal life. She graduated from nursing school in 1966. She became a administrator of a preschool for children with behavioral and emotional disorders shortly after. She was married, but she never had any children of her own. In 1982, Cindy and her husband separated, and shortly after that, for the next 7 years, Cindy had reported over 100 times to police that she was a victim of harassment. 5 of these attacks were violent physical attacks on her. The attacks first started off as random phone calls. Sometimes a caller would whisper or breathe into the phone, other times it was just silence. She reported the phone calls to police and they started an investigation, but the harassment escalated over the next 3 months. Cindy would report that she heard prowlers around her house at night, her porch lights got smashed, her phone lines would be cut constantly, and then she started getting bizarre notes that were made from newspaper clippings. So, you know how like people will cut the letters out of the newspaper and like make a message?
Oh my gosh, that's freaky.
Yeah, and like some of them had pictures of like nooses on them. One of the
Oh my
notes
god.
said, "I see you."
Ew.
Another note had like pictures of people in body bags. So they were just like really scary, weird notes.
What the heck?
Yeah. So, um, on January 27th, 1983, Cindy's friend Agnes Woodcock went to Cindy's house for a visit. When she arrived, she knocked on the door, but Cindy didn't answer. Agnes kind of just thought that she was in the bath or, doing something, maybe didn't hear her. So she walked around the garage. She walked around the house to the garage and she saw Cindy laying on the ground, curled up. She was like in the fetal position and she had a black nylon stocking tied tightly around her neck. But
Oh my god.
yeah, so she was like still breathing, but she was kind of like in and out of consciousness. And when she came to, she told Agnes that she went out to the garage to grab something and someone had just attacked her from behind. And she said that all she saw were white sneakers.
Snickers?
No, sneakers,
Oh.
like shoes.
Right.
um, Another time, Cindy came home to find her dog Heidi laying in its own mess and it had a cord around its neck. I think it was dead, but it didn't really like confirm or deny if the dog
Oh
was
my
dead.
god.
But after this attack and like the prior attack, she was so terrified that she moved into a different house. She painted her car a different color and she even changed her last name. Police continued their investigation, but Cindy was not giving the full story. Like, they could tell that she was being evasive and withholding information, and they started to suspect that maybe she was just fabricating the stories. She
What the
even,
hell?
yeah, I mean, she was like obviously withholding information, and she would like be hesitant to answer certain questions and stuff.
Right.
But she ended up taking two polygraph tests, and both of them came back inconclusive, and basically that like agreed that she was withholding information.
Mhm.
But my thing about polygraph tests is that I mean they can't be used in court, and I feel like
Wait,
they
they
really
can't?
uh-uh. No,
Oh,
because they're not
why?
like 100% proven that they
Oh,
work.
right.
Because
God, I
there can
wish they
be
were.
I know. There can be so many factors that go behind like why someone failed something, like even just having anxiety or like high blood pressure or something like that, can cause
Mhm.
someone to fail. So if I like, and I listen to this podcast Crime Junkie and they agree, and if you guys haven't listened to them, please check them out. I mean, they didn't pay us to say this or anything, but I just love them. Anyways,
I
they
wish we would get paid to tell you
right,
guys
we're like this
something.
small little podcast and they're like this giant following and they pay us.
Someone sponsor us, please.
But anyways, Crime Junkie even agrees, like never agree to a polygraph test and don't talk to the police. So anyways, I mean,
Yeah.
she took this test, but if you think about it, like, I mean, I've been in abusive situations, never with a partner, but with like family members. And it's very scary dealing with someone who's super manipulative and super able to gaslight people. So,
Yeah.
it honestly, with everything that if she was actually going through an attack, like I can imagine that she would fail the test just from her nerves.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, but anyways, so Cindy's mother, Tilly Hack, said that Cindy had told her when she was attacked that the attacker held a knife to her throat and told her that if she talked to the police, that her sister would be killed and next it would be her mother.
Oh my
So
god.
yeah, so Cindy's family believed that she was withholding information, but they didn't think that she was making it up. Like they believed that she was actually being attacked by somebody, but that she was so scared to tell police who it was. They fully believed her and her story.
Yeah.
So after this, Cindy ended up hiring a private investigator, Ozzy Caban. And on January 30th, 1984, Ozzy went to Cindy's house after he heard strange sounds coming from a two-way radio that he gave her. He gave this to her for easy communication. I think this was before like cell phones were like in everyone's hands and things like that. So, but he heard some strange noises coming from it and he wasn't getting any responses from her. When he got there, he knocked on the door and Cindy didn't answer. He checked all of the doors and everything was locked up. He looked through one of her windows and he saw her laying on the floor. So he immediately called the police and he busted into the house. And when he got to Cindy, he thought that she was dead because she was like laying on her stomach and her arms were out. But then he
Mhm.
looked up and he saw that there was a paring knife stabbed through her hand with a note
Oh my
attached.
god.
So like
Ew.
yeah, so they had like put the note on her hand and then stabbed the knife through it.
Fuck.
And yeah. The note said, "You are dead, bitch."
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
I know, it's fucking crazy. So when Ozzy was able to question Cindy, she told him that she saw a man coming through the side gate. She thought she recognized him, so she was like going to check it out. Um, and the next thing that she knew, she was being hit over the head. She remembered being held down on the floor and a needle going into her arm before the knife was put through her hand.
A needle?
Yeah. So she was like, I'm being drugged during these attacks so that I don't remember anything, basically.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. After this, police decided to start doing 24-hour surveillance on her home. No attacks happened when police were there, of course. They even did secret surveillance without Cindy knowing to see if they could like catch her in the act of doing something. But
Mhm.
they they never saw anything. They never found footprints anywhere. But as soon as the police would leave, something would happen,
Of course.
right? So the next big attack was on December 11th, 1985. Cindy was found dazed and semi conscious in a ditch 6 miles from her home. The only thing that she was wearing was one men's work boot and one glove. She was suffering from hypothermia. She had cuts and bruises all over her body, and once again, a black nylon stocking was tied tightly around her throat.
Mm.
When Cindy was fully conscious this time, she had zero memories of what happened. So the past two times she kind of remembered something, but this time she had zero memory of anything. So after this, police fully began to believe that she was hurting herself and fabricating all of the attacks. Cindy's closest friends, again, were Agnes, who we mentioned earlier, and her husband, Tom. So it was Agnes's husband, Tom. And Cindy
Mhm.
asked them to spend the night with her several times because she was scared. Like, she didn't want to be attacked and she wanted someone to witness. She asked them to stay the night. And on one occasion, Cindy was in the room with Agnes and Tom all night, so they slept in the same room. And when they woke up the next day and they went into the basement, one of the glass windows were removed from the basement window. So like they had just like taken the entire like glass pane window out of the windowsill.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's so scary. Agnes and Tom swore that Cindy couldn't have done it because she was with them in the same room the entire night.
Mhm.
On another occasion, when they spent the night, Cindy woke them up after midnight. She said she heard noises in the basement. Tom had just woken up because he also heard a loud thump. And so he came running out. And when they went to go downstairs, the basement was in flames. Like it was on fire.
Oh my god.
So Agnes ran to the phone to call the police, and the phone line was cut again. So Tom ran outside and he was going to go to a neighbor's house. And when he was outside, he said he saw a man standing on the curb. He yelled at them that the house was on fire and to call the police. But when he said that and the man saw him, he turned around and started running away in the opposite direction.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so once again, the police arrived and they thought that Cindy had done it herself. The firefighters proved that the fire started inside the basement, but there was literally no evidence of forced entry. There was no evidence that anyone had gotten into the house. And like all of the windows in the basement had dust around them, but nothing was disturbed. Like no dust was disturbed. There were no
Yeah.
fingerprints on anything.
It's
So
weird.
there was no evidence of someone ever entering the basement to set the basement on fire. And then, to make it worse for herself, after the fire was put out and the police left, there were reports of Cindy walking her dog afterwards.
What the fuck?
It was
After her.
3 o'clock in the morning.
That's weird.
Yeah, so they're like, okay, first of all, you're being stalked, harassed, attacked, drugged. Your basement was set on fire, and now you're walking your dog in the middle of the night by yourself.
It sounds kind of
What
like
the fuck?
cuckoo.
Yeah. So that was like police were like totally convinced that nobody was attacking her and that she was just making everything up or doing everything to herself. Shortly after all of this happened, Cindy's doctor decided to have her committed to a local psychiatric ward. Fuck.
What did you say?
Blah. Psychiatric? Yeah.
Psychiatric?
Apparently I can't speak, so I shouldn't go first anymore. Her doctor believed her that she was being attacked and harassed, but what he was scared of was that she was starting to become suicidal because nobody else did believe her. So he said that she really started to struggle with the fact that no one was believing her, and it slowly started to drive her crazy. She spent 10 weeks in the hospital, and then she was able to go home. And when Cindy was released and she went home, she finally admitted to her family and friends that she was withholding information on purpose, and that she was convinced that she knew who her attacker was. She said that she wanted to catch him on her own and that she would explain everything once he was caught because she was still scared that he would attack her family and her friends.
Mm-hmm.
But she told them that she knew who it was. She did have her suspicions that the person attacking her was her ex husband. And a few weeks after saying this to her family, her ex husband received a chilling voicemail. It said, "Cindy, dead meet soon." And we're going to play a clip for you guys. It sounds so fucking scary, but there's been a lot of speculation about the recording. Some people think that it's clearly a man, and others think that it's a woman disguising her voice to sound like a man. So I don't know. It's crazy.
Spoopy.
Yeah, it's very spooky. Um, 2 weeks after the voicemail was received, Cindy was found unconscious in her car with her hands and feet tied behind her back. She was naked from the waist down and again had a black stocking tied around her throat. So
There's
that
a
was,
pattern.
yeah. So there's definitely a pattern. The black stocking was found around her throat every time that she was found attacked. Um, but that was basically one of the last big attacks. And then on May 25th, 1989, this would have been 6 years and 7 months total after the first threatening phone call, Cindy James disappeared.
Oh
The
my
same day that she
god.
disappeared, she was her car was found in a parking lot. Inside there were groceries and a wrapped present. There was blood on the driver's side door handle, and items from her wallet, like her credit cards and a receipt, were found under her car. 2 weeks after her car was found, Cindy's body was found in the yard of an abandoned house.
Fuck.
Her hands and feet were bound together behind her back. There was a needle mark in her arm, and again, another black stocking was tied tightly around her neck.
Dude, that's horrific.
So, an autopsy revealed that Cindy had died from a drug overdose of morphine and a mixture of other drugs. Police believe that Cindy just committed an elaborate suicide, but Ozzy, who was her private investigator, he believes that Cindy would not have been able to tie herself up after ingesting that amount of drugs and stated there was no evidence of a syringe or anything around her. Investigators say that the drugs would not have taken effect for about 15 minutes and that she would have had 15 minutes to tie herself up and get into position. But Ozzy still totally believes that there's no way. Some experts say that with the amount of drugs that were in her system, that she would have basically been unconscious like almost immediately, and there would have been
Yeah.
no time to prepare. Some people also think that her body was dumped there, and that she was actually dead for like 6 days.
Oh my god. Wait, wouldn't like her body was like went to a coroner, right?
Yeah, so at the coroner's inquest, a theory was raised that while she was committed, the psychiatrist at the hospital thought that Cindy may have suffered from multiple personality disorder and that one of her
Mm.
personalities was trying to destroy the other.
Oh
But
my god, that's so fucking scary.
yeah, so some
That's really
people,
creepy.
yeah, so like that guy thinks that she was attacking herself, but not like knowingly. Like when she was herself, she thought somebody else was attacking her, but when she was her other personality was trying to attack Cindy. Like it's crazy, but Cindy's regular doctor stated that he had many conversations with her, including deep hypnotic ones, and he never saw any evidence of multiple personality disorder. So
What
her
the fuck?
regular doctor actually doesn't believe that she had that at all.
Yeah, that's
Her
weird.
Yeah, and her family has also stated that she never showed any signs at all of having multiple personalities. After this, the coroner eventually ruled that Cindy James died of an unknown event.
What
So
does that mean?
it means that nobody fucking knows what happened to her, man.
Oh my
They can't prove or
god.
deny, like, they can't prove that she killed herself. They can't prove that or deny that somebody else may have done this to her. Like, there's just nothing. There's no evidence of it.
That's fucked.
Yeah. So through the whole case, there were two suspects. Her ex husband, of course, and then there was an officer that she ended up dating, and his name was Pat. But they didn't.
Officer.
Yeah. So to me, it's like, okay, maybe it is a cop that's doing all this, right? But he was eventually cleared, and he was actually he ended up being charged with 2 counts of sexual assault unrelated to Cindy. Um,
Ew.
yeah, but
We don't
I
like
mean,
him.
yeah, no, he sucks. But yeah, they were both cleared, so nobody
Yeah.
really knows what happened to her. It's a huge mystery. Like I said, like there's so many parts of it where I want to believe her so bad because you always believe the victim, but then there's some things that just don't add up.
Right. And it sucks because nobody knows.
I know. And it's so scary because like I just watched that movie that came out, The Invisible Man.
I was literally just thinking that. I was like, I
Yeah,
haven't seen it,
dude.
but I'm like, is this what that is?
It's so good. You have to go see it. It's such a good movie. Oh my god.
I want
It's
to.
insanely good. But I was thinking about that the whole time that I was doing the research for this episode because I was like, what if it really is like a ghost or something? Like, I don't know. Someone just and she had said multiple times that she knew that this person wasn't going to kill her, that they wanted to scare her to death. And that's just
Well,
terrifying.
it happened.
I know. It's so scary.
That's my one of my biggest fears is being scared to death, like actually scared.
Right?
where like it kills me. That's
Yeah,
scary.
so if you listen to this episode, please let us know what you think. Let me know if you think that she is just crazy and did it herself, or if you actually think that somebody attacked her. I mean, her family and Agnes, they all are totally convinced. Like, her mom even said, like, if Cindy wanted to kill herself, she would have dressed herself properly, she would have gotten her dog, and she would have done it in her home respectfully because that's who Cindy was. So,
But also, there was a lot of weird things that she was
right,
doing or like that
right.
was happening. So, I don't know.
It's just so crazy, man.
And you would never know how someone would kill themselves. Like, it's
Yeah.
just
And like
people, like,
some people don't want to admit that they have those thoughts. So like if she just blamed it on
exactly.
someone else, but to have it go on for 7 years,
That's a
that's
long time.
insanity.
Well, I have a story. I was looking for a paranormal story and I found this one, but it ended up being like it's like partially paranormal and like partially like crime or just shit's going on. So this one, it has to do with a house in Los Angeles known as the Jean Harlow house, and it's said to be haunted. It's a Bavarian style home in Beverly Hills. So Los Angeles, Beverly Hills, Hollywood, everything. It's all fucking LA. Okay. So we're going to just say LA. So Jean Harlow, she was a pretty popular actress in the 1930s who starred in many movies, of which a few were Hell's Angels, Goldie, Scarface from 1932, and Redheaded Woman. She was also known as Hollywood's original blonde bombshell.
Ooh.
Yeah, so when Jean was 21, she met 40-year-old MGM producer Paul Byrne, who helped her become famous. He owned the Harlow property during the 1920s and the 1930s. She moved into the home with him when they got married on July 2nd, 1932, and they got married in her parents' living room, which is cute. I feel like that was like pretty like common to get married inside your house back
Yeah,
then.
that is cute. I like a good
Um,
old-fashioned backyard wedding.
yeah, well, this one's a living room wedding
That is a little bit weird, but you know, if you got
in
the
the living
space
room.
for it.
Yeah, I think it
You're
was a
like
pretty big
people sitting on the
house
couch watching the football game. No, just kidding.
while they're getting married.
Yeah.
It's like, don't pay no attention to us. We're just, gonna be together for the rest of our lives. No big deal. Um, so so they got married in 1932. And then 2 months later, on September 5th, Paul was found naked and dead in front of a mirror by their butler with a gunshot wound to the head.
Jesus, what a fucking plot twist.
Yeah, so they weren't even married for that long and then he was dead. But
Yeah, that's
it was
so horrible. Oh my gosh.
yeah, it was claimed to be a suicide, but a lot of people were confused by it and didn't know whether it was really a suicide or if Jean had killed him. Which people really did think that Jean might have killed him, but I don't nobody knows. Nobody knows what happened. Just like the same thing with yours. Nobody fucking
Yeah.
knows.
That's like that's what I hate so much about true crime stuff and like being obsessed with true crime stuff because the unknown drives me fucking crazy.
Same. It's like can someone just be honest? Can someone just
Yeah.
know? Can someone come back from the dead and just fucking tell us
I
what happened?
know.
Like just tell us.
There's so many cases that haunt me like ugh, the Abby and
Yeah.
Liberty case. That case drives me crazy, but maybe we'll cover it. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so when the butler found Paul, he immediately called the studio instead of the police. And because of that, it really raised the speculation on what actually happened because calling anyone else but the police first when you find a dead person is just like,
Really
I don't
dumb.
know. Yeah, it's like not the right thing to do unless you're trying to hide something.
Yeah.
So, him calling the studio instead of the police gave them more time to tamper with the scene and even potentially skew evidence if there was something that had been done to like where they would want to tamper with it. Like if something actually happened where he, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Like it gave them enough time to possibly destroy evidence if there were any evidence to be
ex-
destroyed.
exactly, that's what I'm
Yeah,
trying to say.
yeah. I got
So
you.
the studio executive found a suicide note and then gave it to the police. So this suicide note was it was printed in like all the newspapers like the following day or something, but it said, "Dearest dear, unfortunately, this is the only way to make good the frightful wrong I have done you and wipe out my abject humiliation. I love you, Paul. You understand last night was only a comedy." So, first of
Ooh.
all, it kind of doesn't even sound right. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, that's like very weird verbiage, but also it's like
Yeah.
a mystery.
Yeah, it's super strange.
Like, what was last
Um,
night? What was a comedy?
Exactly. But see, even Jean was confused. She had no fucking clue what the hell he was talking about or like what it meant.
Damn.
And later on, it came out that their marriage was either abusive by him or that he was having an affair with an ex-lover or just something else was wrong with it. And perhaps one or all of those things is what the letter alluded to. I did read like on some website. I didn't read too much about it, but I did read that he was very abusive to her, where he actually got like he like fractured, not fractured. He like he did something to her that like actually hurt her kidneys,
Oh
but
no.
I don't know if that was true. I didn't read all of it because it had to do with like her home before the Jean Harlow house. So yeah. So anyways, many did suspect one of his ex-lovers, who was Dorothy Millett, because her body was found in the Sacramento River just 2 days after Paul's death. It was later determined that she had committed suicide by jumping from the Delta King steamboat. So she killed
Damn.
herself. Yeah, so the night before Paul Burns' death, Dorothy visited him. He had been financially supporting her because she was suffering from mental and emotional problems and ended up in Connecticut sanatorium. So he was probably paying for literally everything to support her up until she got into that sanatorium, or I don't know. But despite the odd coincidence of their two deaths, Jean claiming she didn't know a thing about what was meant in the suicide note, the coroner ruled his death as a suicide. And she never spoke publicly about the death. And then she quickly moved out right after he died and ended up passing away 4 years later at the age of 26. She died
What?
from a complicated illness that ended in kidney failure.
Oh, that's
So,
weird. So it's like, did he
yeah,
actually cause that if he did harm her kidneys?
I
Or
have no fucking clue. Nobody fucking knows. There was
nobody
not
knows?
yeah, there wasn't that much about her death that I read, but um in 1960, which was like what fucking 20 something years later, the investigation to Paul's death was reopened, but shortly after it shut down when there was no new evidence coming to light.
That's weird. Like, what even caused it to get reopened?
I don't know. I
Maybe they
think
found, maybe they like thought they found something and then they actually didn't, or
I don't
maybe it
know.
got a
It
new
was
detective. I don't know.
maybe someone was just very interested in the case and was like, we need to open this, and then they're like, yeah, we're not getting anywhere.
Yeah, could be.
um so then in 1963, the house was purchased by Jay Sebring, who was a famous hairstylist and was dating Sharon Tate at the time. If you don't know who Sharon
Ooh.
Tate is, she was an American actress and model. She starred in The Beverly Hillbillies and Eye of the Devil and a few other films and TV shows. Do you know who Sharon Tate is?
Yes,
Like,
and her most famous role, a victim of Charles Manson.
yes, which I am gonna get to that. So,
Spoiler alert, sorry.
spoiler, yeah. So she would spend a lot of her time at his home and eventually moved in for a bit until she left him for the French-Polish film director Roman Polanski in 1966, which, if you know Sharon Tate, you know who Roman Polanski is, I think, right? Do you know who he is?
Yep.
Okay. So, but you definitely know who Jay Sebring is because, you know, Sharon and Jay, you know, whatever. Anyway, so so I have a video that I found that I will post in our Instagram of Sharon Tate and a party that she had thrown at his house. So the Jean Harlow house now at this time, like 1966, is now Jay Sebring and Sharon Tate's house. Um, so they they were dating first before she moved in. But she would like go stay with him a lot. And she would claim, or they both would claim to have had paranormal experiences in the house. Anytime Jay went out of town for work before she moved in, she would ask to stay at his house because it gave her a funny feeling and she wanted to see what would happen.
Ooh, so she probably would like Tale of Two Dead Girls.
Yeah, for sure.
She's spooky like us. She likes to get spook shitless.
Yeah, she's a little ghost hunter. So Sharon claimed to see apparitions, including a creepy little man, is what she described him as, that would wake her up from her sleep. And she believed it could have been Paul Burns' ghost. It said that the ghost was entering her bedroom and looking for something while ignoring her. So it was just like in her
Hmm.
room doing its thing and like literally did not give a fuck that she was in there. So,
That's
but she,
scary because, like, what if he. Never mind. It's like a whole, like, dimensional thing. Like, he thinks that he's still alive and he's looking for something, but he
like the
feels like.
sixth
Yeah,
sense.
like, he feels her
Oh my
energy
god.
because he thinks that. And he, like, thinks that there's a ghost in his room, but really he's a ghost in her room.
Oh, bitch, that's so
I know.
creepy.
Anytime something scary happens to me, I'm like, what if there is other, like, dimensions and they're just,
There
like,
totally is.
interlocking with
Totally
ours
is.
right now?
I 100% believe it.
Fucking scary,
Um,
man.
but yeah, so seeing the ghost, she, even though it was ignoring her, she still got scared. And so she
Yeah.
ran out of her room. Yeah, she ran out of her room and then she saw a figure hanging from the banister by a white cord with its throat slashed, potentially an omen to her and her boyfriend's eventual deaths. Well, yeah, their deaths.
Fuck.
Um, and that's thought because she might have had premonitions. She said to her friend um, that was interviewed, that quote, I saw a vision of someone tied to the staircase. It might have been me. It might have been Jay. Whoever it was cut open at the throat. She also said, there were other visions concerning a man and a woman, which cannot be printed, but mostly it was a vision of a man seen in detail. And the man she was referring to was Paul Byrne. So Sharon and Jay remained close friends when her and Roman Polanski started dating. So there was like no bad blood between them because Sharon and Jay got married. Oh wait,
Yeah.
no wait, yeah they did. They got married. They were married for a little bit, and then no wait, did they get married? Wait,
I
shit, I can't remember. No, I think that was. Wait, no, they did get married.
Yeah, I think
Wait,
they got married and then they got like divorced or whatever and then she started dating Roman Polanski and like they were still really close or like they were still friends.
right, yeah they were like super close. Um, but yeah, so they started dating, and then unfortunately, both are murdered by the Charles Manson family. Sharon Tate was 26 when she passed, which was the same age as Jean Harlow when she also passed. But Sharon did not die in the Jean Harlow house, nor did Jean Harlow die in that house either. But it's just weird that they both lived in that house and then they both died at 26, you know? Um,
And she saw
but
ghosts there, so
yeah, and she saw ghosts there, which might have been Paul. And nobody knows what happened to Paul, so who knows if Paul's, ghost is there because he killed himself and so he's like stuck on Earth, or if he was murdered and he's like pissed off or something, I don't know.
yeah, he's like stuck because of like not getting closure for his murder or something.
So on August 8th, 1969, Sharon Tate, who was 8 months pregnant with Roman's baby, she was with Jay Sebring, and they went to dinner with two of their friends and came back to her house where she lived with her husband Roman at the time. Um, and I don't think Roman was there. I think he was somewhere else. I think he was somewhere else. He might have been. I can't remember. But anyways, um, Patricia Krenwinkel, Susan Atkins, and Charles Watson, aka the Charles Manson family, invaded the home. It was reported that Charles Watson, who is also known as Tex, or yeah, Tex, right? I think,
Yeah.
tied Tate and Sebring together by their necks with rope that he then slung from the ceiling beams. So it's weird that Sharon saw that figure of like the body dangling from the staircase, because that's how she, like, her and Jay kind of died. Um so Jay pretty much begged for Sharon's life and for her unborn child, and so did Sharon. She was pleading for her life, and she told the Manson cult of her wish to be allowed to live long enough to have her baby, and offered herself up as a hostage in exchange. But then Jay was brutally shot and stabbed to death, and the others were then all killed. And Jay was stabbed 16 times.
Jeez.
The bodies were found the next morning by Sharon's housekeeper, Winifred Chapman. And then in the driveway, police later saw Stephen Parent, who was visiting the the house's caretaker, William Garrettson, shot dead in his car. Um, on the front lawn were the bodies of the two friends that were with them, and inside the house were the bodies of Sharon Tate and Jay Sebring, found in the living room, still connected by the long rope tied around each of their necks, 4 feet apart from each other. And this, they didn't die in the Jean Harlow house, so this is like kind of about the Jean Harlow house and kind of not about the Jean Harlow house. Like, it just has to do with the people that like lived there.
Yeah.
But after the murder of Jay Sebring, the house was sold to a doctor. And there's been several. So I think this was either before Jay or after, but there's been several deaths that have been reported within the house. Like, deaths with it, like with the swimming pool. Like, people had like drowned or something like that. The swimming pool of the Jean Harlow house. So that was pretty fucking weird, that people are still dying at that house. But if you guys are interested in seeing the house, which you actually, you know what? Never mind. I was gonna give the the location of it, because I mean it's publicly like everywhere. Like, you can Google it and you'd find it. So I guess it's okay to say, but I think people actually live there, so I'm not gonna give you
You
the address
don't want to
anymore.
advocate for it because if people do
Yeah.
some fucked up shit or something.
Well, the current owners, they do have like run-ins with like Manson obsessed fans. I guess you could say fans. And the guy, like the owner, he saw like people having sex in the driveway in a
Oh
car,
my
like of his house.
oh
Yeah, I
my
don't know.
god.
There's like some really like there's some real freaks out there.
Well, okay, like that's I okay, this might sound shitty, but like that's kind of what you get for buying a famous house. Like there's what is
Yeah.
it? Oh, the Goonies house? How like this lady like bought the Goonies house and she like painted it blue and like fucking put up all these signs like no trespassing, no pictures, and it's just like why would you buy a famous house to live in knowing people are going to want to see it? Like, what?
Right. Yeah, I get that. I don't know. People just assume that they are going to live peacefully in a very famous house when that's not the case, even if you put up a sign.
Right?
So, yeah, but that's it. That's what I had for the Jean Harlow house that ended up becoming about Sharon Tate and Jay Sebring. So we'll definitely do an episode on the Manson murders, or something. But oh
Yeah.
my god, Charles Manson died here. Like, where I live.
In California?
Yeah, like I think he was in the like I forget which prison it was, but it's like really close to where I live.
I remember
And
when he died. I
it
was
was
in a
like last
Denny's.
year,
No, it was a
right?
couple years ago. It was a few years ago because
No, it
it
was
was.
literally
No, it
no.
was. Because I remember where I was when it happened. I was at a Denny's with my friend and he was sad about it. And I was like, why the fuck are you sad about this? Because it was on the news.
Let me.
And I'm not friends with that person anymore. So I know it was a few years ago.
Oh, it was 2017.
Yeah, see?
Wow,
It
really?
was. Yeah. It
November.
was longer than you think, but yeah. Good
Wait,
fucking riddance. He was so crazy.
wait,
He does
maybe it
have
wasn't him then. No, it was totally Charles Manson. What the
yeah.
fuck? I can't believe it was that long ago.
I know time flies, but
I really thought that it was like last year. Holy
have you ever
shit.
listened to his music?
Charles Manson? He had
Yeah.
music? I had no
Yeah.
fucking clue.
Wait, do you
No.
like okay, so the whole thing about him, like, well, you'll have to read into it, but he like went crazy because he wouldn't get signed for his music, but
Oh my
he
god.
does have some music on Spotify and it's actually really good. Like there's a
What the
song.
fuck? That's crazy.
Yeah. He has a song and it's like I don't I can't remember what it's called. I feel like I have to look now. It's
I
like
can't believe I didn't know.
Game
Like
Girl or something.
I don't know much about Charles Manson actually. I just know that he had like it was like a cult, like a family cult kind of thing, and then they like killed people. I did buy a book for a old friend, Helter Skelter, and that's like the whole like Charles Manson stuff, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And I bought that for him, and I kind of wish I kept it because it had like everything in there.
Yeah.
But
I use Spotify and Charles Manson's music is on Spotify, but there's a
amazing.
song called Look at Your Game Girl and that's like my favorite song by him. It's actually really good, but
Get your game, girl.
no, Look at Your Game Girl.
Oh, look at your game, girl. Whatever.
Yeah, but yeah.
Damn, I'm hungry. I think I want to go make dinner now.
Yeah, same here. We got to eat all our quarantine snacks.
Dude, seriously, you know, I had so much carbs today. I had like 6 slices of bread. I had bread for breakfast, and I had 2 grilled cheese sandwiches for lunch, and now I'm probably gonna go have some more bread.
Damn, we love bread. I love
We
bread
love
so
bread.
much.
I got that Dave's Killer bread or whatever the fuck it's called.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
It's like the super healthy, like it has like 5 million different seeds in there and shit, and
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
I love those
$5
breads.
for a loaf of bread.
Fuck.
But anyways, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it. Send us your spooky stories to taleoftwodeadgirls@gmail.com. We will be posting a morbid mini soon, so get your stories in so we have more content for you guys.
Yeah, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram and all that good stuff. Again, let me know what you think about Cindy James's murder, mystery, death. I would love to hear your guys' comments and like thoughts on it. Send us your stories. We got a couple of emails last time, I think, after the Morbid Mini.
Yes.
So yeah, we keep it coming.
All right, guys, we'll talk to you in the next episode. So have a good one. And we'll meet you 6 feet under.